Yemen is dealing with one of the worst crises in its modern history. The whole country is nearly a total disaster. The hospitals are in need of desperate aid to cope with an increasing number of sick and injured people. And all of that is because of a Saudi-imposed blockade on the country. The Saudi regime tightened the siege on its southern Arab neighbour following a retaliatory missile fire by Yemen's Houthi fighters and their allied forces on November 4th. Since then, UN agencies and aid groups have warned of a looming humanitarian crisis, saying untold thousands would die if the siege is not lifted. Under international pressure, Saudi Arabia has agreed to allow aid workers into the capital Sana'a, but it is refusing to let aid ships dock in the Houthi-controlled port of Hudaydah. The port is a crucial route for delivering aid to the people of Yemen.
Well, I think Saudi Arabia is playing a delusional game of public relations. It is trying to put on a very public-friendly face to the world, to the United States, through the mainstream media, to the United Nations, that it is somehow a gentle, honest regime that is suffering and being abused by political usurpation, which is not the case.
Is this a ploy by Saudi officials to ease international pressure?
There's been no substantial change since yesterday regarding the requests for clearance to go by boat to Hudaydah and Salif seaport with humanitarian supplies. We stress the critical importance of resuming also commercial imports, in particular fuel supplies for our humanitarian response, transportation and so on, and for water pumping.
This is a hospital in the capital Sana'a where children suffering from diphtheria receive treatment. Officials say at least 1 million Yemeni children are at risk of contracting diphtheria. The Al Sabin hospital is one of the few medical centers that is still receiving patients, but officials are warning of a looming crisis if help is not provided.
Medical supplies do not reach these centers and to Yemen, and therefore most of the population suffer from poverty and suffer from malnutrition. So the children of Yemen are threatened, and there will be too many deaths as a result.
And this is Al Thawra Hospital in the heart of the capital Yemen. The facility is struggling to treat patients. That includes babies in the intensive care unit and patients with kidney failure. The situation could get far worse if no help is provided.
We are suffering greatly and we try to offer everything we can, but I don't think we can last any longer. There will come a time when we'll have to stop because of this suffering.
These numbers can shed a little bit of light on the crisis. Some 2.5 million Yemenis do not have any access to clean water in crowded cities. 27 million Yemenis need help to ward off famine. 11 million children are in urgent need of humanitarian aid. Acute malnutrition is threatening the lives of almost 400,000 children. The country is now battling 900,000 cases of cholera.
Because this is a form of biological weapon, if you will, by the purposeful and intentional cultivation of disease and sickness, starvation, dehydration, the absence of medical supplies. This is meant to achieve a genocide. This is not a punishment of civilians. This is a genocide of the Yemeni people by the Saudi Arabians.
The crisis in Yemen would have been averted had it not been for the support of Western powers to the ambitious royals in Riyadh. Washington and London are largely responsible for the humanitarian disaster that's going on in Yemen. The government of Prime Minister Theresa May is now under fire for its role in the crisis. Andrew Mitchell, a former Tory cabinet minister, has accused the government of directly promoting famine. Mitchell has also warned that Britain's engagement in the war is doomed to become a strategic failure.
Yeah, we all knew Saudi Arabia was the heart of Takfiri terrorism and was responsible for the most maniacal, delusional behavior and hysteria in a just a monstrous sort of a way.
With the escalating humanitarian cost of war, it's high time for Western powers to reassess their involvement in the crisis and stand up to Saudi Arabia.